Okay, here we go. And hoping that everything is working this morning. It's a crazy day as always. How's it going? I got audio doubling back at me. I thought I had these things on mute. I can tell already something's not. That was my yeah. Okay, I'm just closing up some audio here so I don't get things doubling back at me. I missed one. And yeah, man. Rich Ross is here. Good morning, Rich. You know, usually I talk to Rich all the time. Rich, I haven't talked to you in a while. Been busy. We've all been busy, so nice to see you out there. And everybody else who's hanging around. Let me change this. Camera's a little high. I thought I had that right. That's a little low. Well, that's not bad, I guess. Maybe a little low. Anyway, wow. It's been 2 weeks since I have streamed. Nepacoder! Hey, how are ya? Thanks for coming by today. It's been 2 weeks since I've streamed, and I don't know, this whole coronavirus thing, I mean, I don't know what day it is. It's always so confusing. Matter of fact, if it wasn't for my stream being on Wednesday and the Dev Talk Show being Wednesday nights, I think I would really be lost as to what day of the week it is. That keeps me sort of anchored in the week and knowing what day it is. And you know what? I'm feeling good. Now, I don't know if you can see this, but Shwami got a haircut, okay? My hair was getting really long like everybody else's, but I got some clippers. I mean, my haircut is not the most complicated haircut. Bruno is hosting me. Thanks, Bruno. Thank you. Yeah, so I got clippers. I got a little buzz going. I'm feeling good. I am feeling like back, maybe, and ready to have some fun. And I hope everybody's doing well. I hope everybody is dealing with this thing. Hey, Kev, how are you? Just talking about my beautiful haircut, which is an easy haircut. And I should tell you guys that I was brave here with the haircut. I let my kids cut my hair. That's right. I let my kids cut my hair. Now, admittedly, all you have to do is put the clippers on, like I put the number 2 clip thing on there, you know, and let them go. But then, I don't know if you can see this side, I let my daughter, she got a little, a little crazy here, but she did a good job. And a little extra buzz there. But you can't really see it unless I point it out. And my hair grows back in a couple of days. That will be filled in, so who cares? Anyway, got the haircut, feeling good. Let's get into writing some code today. Last time I was on a stream, and I'm going to switch over to my screen. Yep, last time, at the end of the show, I had an exception, and I was tempted to come back in here and fix it between the streams, but I didn't. I didn't come back in here and touch anything. I don't know if I like that camera. That's probably better. So what happened is, and I'm going to run this now because we're going to get the same exception. It's one of those cases where I got the exception and I thought it was something, and like as soon as I ended the stream, and you can see I haven't even committed my code here. If we look down here, I haven't even committed this code yet because I wanted to sort of leave it. And here's the exception. I'll run it and we'll get into fixing that exception. And I'll bring this over to the right monitor. And man, it feels good to be streaming again, by the way. This is great. I feel like I'm back. So here's, boom, should be my exception. Oh, maybe it doesn't come on that page. Hang on a second. Or did I fix it already? I don't think I fixed it. Oh, that is odd. Oh, because there's no criteria. That is why. Okay. So when I put criteria into this, which is this new thing I was doing, let's put in the word 2 or something like that because I see 2 here. I'm pointing to my screen like you guys can see me pointing. That was good. So I hit search and this thing's going to blow up right here. There it is. The link expression blah, blah, blah contains this ordinal ignore case. Now, I know that link doesn't support everything. Link with entity framework and all this stuff doesn't support everything. But this contains doesn't work right. And so what I'm trying to do is filter out my get episodes with some text parameter. Nothing fancy here. Just doing a simple, checking the title and the details and the tags for the text. And this thing fails. Now, I'll be honest, this is one that I find a little surprising because I know that not everything gets passed through to link properly into the database, I should say. Really not link maybe, but SQL Server not dealing with that well. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, and I'm going to do like one of these, I guess, I'm going to do like a to lower. It's possible. Now, I don't know if anybody knows this. Is it that ordinal ignore case doesn't work? Or, because I think there's other ignore, there's current culture ignore case. I don't really know. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do this, and this is, I think, slower, so I'm not really thrilled about this, but I'm going to do title to lower, right? And then what I really could do right here is do var criteria equals parameters dot search criteria to lower. In theory, I could call to lower all over this thing if I wanted to, but that actually is a little slower. I mean, probably not that we would ever notice, but why call a to lower all over the place if we don't need to call to lower all over the place? So, but unfortunately with these, I don't have a choice. I have to call to lower on all these, and I don't know. It seems like there's got to be a more efficient way to do this. I'm frankly surprised that that ignore case stuff doesn't work. Let's try this out. Let's see, I got to lower, to lower, to lower. I switched criteria to this thing. I guess if I wanted to be really creative, I could do something like lower case criteria, just in case, kind of, who knows if more code will get added into here, and this gets separated, and we're like, why did we do that, but whatever. Always thinking about like, how does my code look, and trying to do the right thing, because even though I'm the only developer here, I know that I will forget everything as to why I'm doing these things. So I try to follow my best practices all along and think about self-documenting code and things like that. Maybe that one was overkill. I don't really know. But here we go. And now, I got a breakpoint in here. I don't need this. This is the original query as it comes through the first time. And now if I search for 2, the question is, does it even work? And I don't think we've run this ever. Oh, look at that. So it takes me to the search results page where I get the result for 2. Now, I didn't add the search box over here because we want to be able to requery in here. So that'll be some of the feature we add. But I guess what I should do is make sure that still works, because that's the whole point of this uppercase, lowercase stuff. And yeah, that still works. And of course, I have to add some unit tests to some of these things. I have been trying to be pretty good with the unit testing, but this one, 2 is showing. Oh, right, because this isn't filtering it locally because I hit the back button. So I think that in general, this like sort of search feature is kind of coming along here. Now, I don't have all the details being displayed here. That was another thing I wanted to work on. But before I move on, I feel like I need a commit back here. So why don't I say basic search working. And let's just commit that and get that out of the way. So, hope everybody's doing well out there. Hope everybody's having fun. I wonder how everybody's managing with all this. Are people watching more online content? And are people, I was streaming before this whole thing. I know a lot of people have started streaming now since we've been isolated and things like that. I've been enjoying a lot of like online, like Build was online, Microsoft Build conference. They did the whole thing online. I thought that was pretty good. Listen, I'll be honest, it's not the same as being there. But I think people are doing a pretty good job with this kind of stuff. And I hope everybody's, enjoying that kind of stuff and trying to make the most of all these things. And, I hope everybody's enjoying this stuff. And Kev watched half the keynote. Yeah, so let me ask you this, right? I watched half the keynote too. And then I watched a little bit of Hanselman. And I tried to watch. See, Kevin, I think you're going the same place as I am. I wanted to watch. Here's what I did wrong, if you want to say wrong, right? I did not block my calendar. I did not make it a priority. I didn't make it a commitment to watch Build. Like, Kevin and I are both Microsoft MVPs. And so a few weeks ago, I guess, we had this MVP Summit, which was the same kind of thing. It was supposed to be an in-person event. They switched it to virtual. In that case, I blocked my calendar. I blocked my calendar for that because I wanted to make it a priority. And I wanted to watch all that content. And I think I was pretty good. I think, I obviously got distracted sometimes and did some work stuff. But, it's really hard. The benefit of going to a conference is that when you go to a conference, you're making it your priority, right? You're blocking your calendar for the most part. Emergencies happen, emergencies come up. But you block your calendar, and you're really able to focus in on the, hey, I got a new subscriber. Thank you, Aftab. That's great, Aftab, if I'm saying that right, and I hope I am. Thank you for subscribing. Appreciate that. Awesome, love that. So, the best we can do in these cases is try to make a priority of these things if we think they're important to us. And, it's hard. So I didn't really make it a priority, and I wasn't able to watch the Build stuff as much as I would like to. The good news is a lot of these things are recorded, and you can go back and watch them, but I find it's so cool if I can make the time and focus in on these things. Anyway, I made my commit here, and I think the next thing I want to do is change the layout of this page and get some more fields in here. So if I look at again, this is my basic, good old-fashioned MVC app using basically Razor syntax kind of stuff. And I can't wait until I get this thing. I'm getting to the point, I'm getting pretty close, where I'm going to say, let's turn this into an Angular app. Let's turn this into a React app. I want to get a couple features done, and then maybe I'll ask some of you guys that are, watch the show, or maybe I'll bring on a guest or something like that to say, hey, if you know Angular, if you know Vue, if you know Blazor, why don't you come on with me for a few shows and let's build that thing together? Because I think that would be really fun to take an existing code base where the API part is done and just build out some other things, right? And then start to take advantage of other things. There's a lot of features that can be added to this site to have some fun with it. But anyway, so if I go to let's see, where am I? Home index. On this page, I do want to have, what are these things? Last updated. Oh, that's the side. Oh, that's the left side of the screen. The right side of the screen has ID, title, and details. Now, I can tell you that ID is probably completely unnecessary to display for users. Let's get rid of the ID. Nobody cares about that. And I think what I want to add to that, let's see if it even fits. I have no idea. I'm going to add the tags. Oh, model does not have tags? Okay, what does model have? Does model have... Model has details. Well, let's take a look at the model. The model is an episode list item DTO, and of course it doesn't have anything else. So let's add a couple fields to that. I'm going to just sort of cheat, copy, paste those things. Let's add tags, and let's add URL. This will be the archive URL, right? And now that I've added those two fields, what I need to do is I need to populate those two fields, of course. Now, knowing the way I have my application set up in the patterns that I like, I can go to my back end and know that somewhere in here under mini, which is where I keep all my little things, I can know there's going to be a converter in here somewhere that converts it. And of course, I don't have a lot of code, so it's pretty easy. Episode history converter. And I want to find something that is going to return an episode list item DTO and take an episode, and lo and behold, here it is. So I'm going to say DTO dot, the first one, let's do archive URL first, equals episode dot archive URL, and DTO dot tags equals episode. Whoops, gosh, I'm having a fun day typing today. Episode dot tags. Okay. Now, here's a question. A lot of times when I'm writing code, because I think about it as I write, and sometimes I'll call my constructor, default thing, and I'll just, load up properties. And I don't always use the object initializer, right? Now, I will say that I used to use this more, and somewhere in my life over the last couple of months, I don't know why, I feel like I've started using these less. And I'll be honest, I'm not really sure why, but I'm always curious to know, like, which way do viewers lean? Which way do people I know lean? Do you guys use the initializers, which is truly clearer? And if we want to simply think about the amount of characters I have to type, I don't need to do DTO in front of each one of these things. And it's just all sort of nice and clean that way. Kev uses initializers, right? I used to use these things like 100%, and I don't know why, but I find that sometimes I'm not using them now, and I think it's because of the way I write code. Like, what I'll do is, right, unless you need logic to determine the value, right? And in that case, you would have to probably use a setter anyway. You'd probably be down here saying tags, equals, who knows? There's a lot of reasons why you might want to do it, differently. But yeah, so I think what happens is when I'm writing code, and this is my my therapy session here with you guys, trying to figure out, like, why do I do it that way? I think it's because a lot of times I start writing things out like this. I'll just stub this out, right? Now, of course, my tests are failing, right? My live tests are failing, but I sort of stub it out because I think about, what is this method going to do? And I might move on. I might just stub it out. And then I start coming in here and adding things. And then I go, well, DTO dot, something like that. I think that's probably the reason why I find myself doing that. Now, what did I do wrong there? I'll just undo that. I don't know. Okay, yeah. What did I do? Because I have a semicolon here. There we go. Okay. So, didn't see that. And so Kevin says he might look at Automapper here too. Well, that is what a lot of people say, quite frankly, right? And Automapper is a really good product. I've worked in applications where people misused Automapper so badly that I am completely turned off to Automapper. Now, even the author of Automapper would say, you shouldn't overuse it, right? And I've spoken to him about that kind of stuff. Automapper is a cool product. And, the worst thing is, or get Jimmy in here. Jimmy would say, I met Jim. This is Jimmy Boggard we're talking about. And I've met him, and we've had conversations about this, and I've heard him tell people that that the use case of Automapper is probably this use case right here. What ends up happening is people start turning Automapper into these whole applications built around Automapper with nested things and back and forth and in and out of the database, and it's really made for like a scenario just like this, and it is a great product for this. However, I find that it's a slippery slope, and I find that people misuse that product so much, such a great product, that I don't use Automapper at all. Quite frankly, I will tell you that I find this code is pretty easy to write, right? So why not just use it? I also find, and this is a negative of mine about Automapper, even when used correctly, is that sometimes it masks the use of certain values, and so you don't know when things are being used all the time. And if you're trying to do like a find replace or look for uses of certain things, you might think it's not getting used. And that's because sometimes it's getting passed through Automapper, and there's some weird subtleties to it. But anyway, Kevin, I think it's a good suggestion, and some people might want to check out Automapper. I don't know, is Automapper updated for like .NET Core? I'm kind of curious, because I haven't looked in a while. Kev says, yeah. So, and I believe him. I believe everything Kevin says. Come on. Here's Automapper, right? It's a really cool product. And here's, I don't know. I'm not going to go too far into this. But if you want to check out Automapper, now. Oh, my God. That's awesome, right? Yeah. I'm giving out some sound effects for Kevin because I said I'd believe anything he says, and he said the Earth is flat. All right now. Enough of this. So anyway, Automapper, cool product. Certainly worth checking out. Just use it carefully and use it for what it's intended for, which is the truth with most things we add to our applications, right? We use a product. You know, maybe it's like a golden hammer scenario where people take that Automapper and they say, this is the tool I have and I'm going to use it for everything, right? And I think they misuse it a little bit. I don't want to go too far on that. Anyway, now I've just added those properties in here, and I can assume that if my database returns this episode, it's going to get mapped into here properly, and so that's pretty good. And now I can go back to this UI, and I think it was like right here. It's probably right here. Model dot, I think I'll put tags in here, and I'll put, now I'm not going to leave this archive URL like that, but let's just leave it like that for now. Now I am not so good with Razor and this kind of syntax, if I'm being honest, right? So what I really want to do is I don't want this URL. I really want this to just be like a nice little hyperlink. So maybe I will leave that blank, and maybe here I will turn this into, I wonder if there's like a helper method to turn this into a link. I mean, I guess I can use like action link. And there's, oh yeah, look at this. This will be cool. So if I do action link, again, I never use this stuff. What happened to my help? There it is. Link text, and I'm going to say, let's just say view. Or watch. How about watch? That'd be cool. Watch the episode. Okay. And then the action name. No, there's no action name. I think I need like a, whoops. Controller name. Oh, maybe I don't want an action link. Maybe that's the problem, because these are all based on actions, and I don't want any of this stuff. So this isn't right. I want just a link, like a link for or button for. What would it be called? I don't know. Or look at that. There's I don't even know what's the word I'm looking for. Link for. How about I just put the word for and see what that gives me? Checkbox for, display model for, editor for. There's got to be something in here for like, I want to create like a, and maybe not. Action link display. This is fun. I'll just keep clicking the down button and, you know, see what I find here. And maybe they don't even have one because I'm at the bottom. So why don't I just do it like, how about this? href equals, right? And then I say view, or watch I was going to say, right? Now what I need to do is get that URL in here, and I guess I can do, I don't know, item dot, nope, that doesn't work. Oh, model item. Model item? Oh, item. It's item because I'm in this list here. So let's do item dot, why doesn't this item resolve Does anybody know this kind of syntax? I'm in the model, I'm looping through, and I've got an item. So in this case, I want to say item dot arc. Oh, now it comes up. That's interesting. Look at this. When I hit dot, I don't know. Maybe it was slow. This is really what I want to do. As simple as that. Oh, and you know what I'll do? I'll add one of those, what is it? Target equals blank. And maybe there's a more razory way to do this. I don't know. But this should take me into the archive where this episode is. Now, I will say I'm not even sure any of these have archive URLs, but let's find out. So what I'm going to do, and I don't know if this is going to fail because these values are blank. I didn't even think about that. But let's see what happens. So, okay, watch works. They're not showing up as links, but that makes sense. Look, here's the tags. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to log in. And I'm logged in now because it uses, it knows who I am, so it logged me in. And I'm going to manage episodes. I'm going to create a new episode. And I'm going to say the one where Kev said the Earth was flat. This episode will forever be named as the one where Kevin said the Earth was flat. And the description will be the same. And I'll say tags will be, I don't know, .net. And yeah, you're famous now. See what you get? .net, and we'll say Razor. I don't know. I'm just trying to think about some tags that would go in here for ASP.NET Core. And I haven't tested these things with spaces in them and all that stuff, so I don't even know if this works. The original air date will be today. Today. And of course, I don't have a URL for this thing. You think the moon landing one? All right, let's go. Listen, I'll tell you what. If you're going to forever be known for this, I'll at least help you out. Where you said the moon landing was faked. Okay. I probably need to make these fields bigger and stuff like that. We don't care about that. Now, I don't really have let's see, a link for this yet because I haven't posted it yet, right? I couldn't possibly have a link. But let's just post to something in my channel. I mean, I guess I could. Well, actually, can I post to this URL? Will this work? Can I get the URL for this episode? And will that hold true even afterwards? I don't know, right? After it goes live. Kevin says yes. See, this is why, we should all watch Kevin's show because he clearly knows, more than I do, right? So Kevin is a streamer on Twitch, recently became a member of the Live Coders team, which congratulations to you, Kevin, on that. And he knows a lot of stuff, and he's worth watching, and so I suggest you check out him on Twitch as well. So I'm going to create this, and here it is. Now, I don't have it in the details here, so obviously I need to fix some of these pages. But if I go home, now I can click this, and I can watch it. And it opens up here, and I'm going to go into an endless loop because this is a video of what we're just writing, and God only knows what will happen, and the whole Earth will implode into itself, and chaos will ensue. So we don't want that to happen. Now let's check this out. So let's see if I type in .net and I search for it, and I really got to get the search box up over on the other page to make this easier to validate. But look, so that works. Okay, because I said .net, so I guess the dot doesn't break it at least. And let's just make sure that if I search for a word that's not mentioned in there, it doesn't bring it up. So look at that. That's, as Kevin would say, and by the way, I'm pointing at Kevin again. I'm pointing at you. That's tested. I'm going to write unit tests on this. Kevin would say that's tested, wouldn't you, Kevin? I know you. Especially for fun stuff like this, but I like writing tests. So this kind of actually fits a little bit. I need to change the layout here. I guess I need to figure out how to clear this search out because it's not searching, like when I come back to this page. I guess it should clear that, and there's probably an easy way to do that. These details I'm going to have to trim because that's clearly going to be too long. Matter of fact, maybe the details shouldn't even be shown here, but I'm finding this is pretty cool, and I'm pretty happy with that. So let's let's check that in. Oh no, let's see if I need to update unit tests, because I got to put my money where my mouth is, or my mouth where my money is, or whatever the heck that is. So if I look at tests, I can see here that under tests, so what did I change, right? Well, that was a different, okay, let's go back to here. So I changed really this converter. It's really the only thing that I have testable at this point. And so if I look at, I don't want to look at it that way. If I look at my tests, it's not going to be hard to update these tests. I'm going to look at my converter. Let's just close all but this. And by the way, while I'm talking here, while I'm going to take a little drink here, tonight at 8:30 p.m., the Dev Talk Show. I hope to see you guys at the Dev Talk Show, mixer.com/the Dev Talk Show, twitch.com/the Dev Talk Show, and yes, you heard it here first, youtube.com/the Dev Talk Show. We just hooked up our vanity URL to YouTube, so we are the Dev Talk Show everywhere. Tonight we have a special guest, Mahesh. I don't even know how you say his last name. Chand? I'll have to ask him how to say his last name properly. Thanks for putting that link in there for me, Kev. Kev was a guest once before. Anyway, Mahesh is the founder of C# Corner, and I just butchered his last name, which is pretty embarrassing. So anyway, he's coming on to talk about developer. We're going to talk about developer, taking it to the next level, learning, and we're going to talk about how to, what did we call the episode? We called the episode, here, let's check this out. Hang on one sec. I'll show you right here. We also have, and I'm going to get back to coding, don't worry. If we go to Meetup, and we go to here, we're saying it's about, the path to, I don't know why, I was having like a brain fart there. Path to developer growth and success, right? How do developers sort of grow themselves and really just, succeed? He's got a lot of experience in that area. He's been working with developers for a long time of all levels through his C# Corner and his own consulting and things like that. So we're going to have a fun conversation about that. Anyway, so I'm going to write some tests for this. So let's see. So if I go to here and, are you guys, if you're out there and feel like participating, let me know how you guys feel about unit tests. Are you sort of thorough about writing your unit tests, or do you, I'm curious to know what other people do. I'm trying to be really good about my unit tests, right? I'm really trying, and I find that it's going pretty well because it's just a discipline that you have to get used to. And I really like knowing that my code is tested. So feel free to jump in and share your thoughts on unit testing. Obviously, I don't do TDD. Sometimes I do TDD, and sometimes I don't. But in this case, I did not. So I'm going to look at my converters, and I have an episode history converter, and this is the 2DTO method. And so the problem with this test, right? This is what bothers me here. The problem with this test is I made a change, and my tests all pass, okay? And that's because my tests are checking to see if I have a title, it copies, and if I have details, it copies, and if I have an ID, it copies. But I don't have a test that would be smart enough to know if all my values have copied over, right? What I'd really like to have is something that looked like this, and I could probably write it. Maybe we could do that now. It might be kind of fun. Copies, something like this. When public properties have value, then they are all copied, right? And I bet I could do, now the only way I could really make that work is if the naming was 100% consistent, right? So ID would have to be ID in the entity, and also in the DTO. The problem with that is that they're not always the same name for various reasons. There's also values in the domain object that might not ever get mapped to the DTO. And so I guess what I could look to do is say something like, check all properties of the DTO first. In other words, if I was doing a loop and I'm thinking about maybe something like using reflection to, hey Kev, have fun. Thanks for coming by. It was good talking with you today. And I hope to see you soon. So I could check all properties of the DTO using like reflection or something like that. Has anyone ever done this kind of stuff? I mean, I've done things similar using reflection, right? And then for each, see if value exists in entity, right? And then assert that values match, something like that. And I'm pretty sure that could be done, but if the names don't match, then it won't work. Now, I could solve that by making sure the names match. Now, for example, in my episode list item DTO, I have archive URL, and I believe that in my domain object, Sudoku's here. Hey! Generic property stuff with reflection. I used to have to do that. Yeah, I know, it's not my favorite thing to do, but I'm trying to figure out, what would be a way to sort of ensure that my... so here's an example where I think I have original air date in here, and I think in my DTO I called it like air date or something like that. I don't know. What if the names don't match just right? That is the problem I'm at. And so there's really no way to do that unless I was really strict with myself and made sure the names match. But sometimes I don't want the names to match for various reasons, right? The DTO should think about what the DTO needs and things like that. So what that leaves me then is that there's no way to know that all fields have been copied over. And so what happens is if I add a new field, then I could... if I added a new field, I would have to add a unit test. So Sudoku's saying, any way to add some kind of annotation to map field names? Yes, I could do that. I could write some kind of annotation. I could probably write some kind of annotation if I did that, use some sort of auto mapping type of thing, and that would be, we're not going back to talking about Automapper because you missed that if you weren't here earlier, but I could use some kind of annotations, but then there again is what if I forget to add the annotation, right? And if I'm going to remember to add the annotation, maybe I would be just as good at adding the unit test or something like that, So maybe this is just one of those things about unit testing that, is the way it is, I guess, because I don't know how else to do it. I can't think of a way. Maybe it's something to research. In any time, I'm going to say, and I've been changing my naming convention for these unit tests. I've been playing around with all that stuff. This one says, given an episode with... maybe let's copy this one down now. I need the unit test to have thorough coverage. So I'm going to copy this test. And I'm going to say, given an episode with is a description. Well, that's wrong. Given an episode with tags, then the tags is copied. Okay. And I will say now tags, and the tags could have 1, 2, 3 tags. Isn't that pretty? And now I will say are equal tag. Oh, you know what else I did? So here's an old assertion. I've added, I'm pretty sure, I've added fluent assertions. So let's just change that. I haven't fixed everything up yet. Let's say DTO dot, that's a capital, that's why. DTO dot tags should, I love fluent assertions, should is a method, and you say should be And I'm going to say should be episode.tags, right? Nice and clean and pretty. Clean to read. Look at that. My live unit testing. This is such a cool feature that I really love. Live unit testing. It just ran the test for me right there. So give it an episode with tags, then tags is copied. And tags is a single field, so it says not tags are copied, but tags is copied. Yeah, I know, whatever. So now I've got code coverage on that little simple change I made, but I don't know if there's a way to automatically check all my values. Now I could do something like, all right, here's what I could maybe do. Let's play with this for a minute. This is going to be a little unit testing fun here. Public void given, I don't know what it's going to be. So it's going to be a backwards test. Okay, check this out, right? When fields are copied, I don't know, copied to, wait, is this going to make sense? Let me think about this for a second. So I'm thinking, if I scope this thing and think that the whole purpose of this DTO is to be copied from this converter, then could I expect that no other fields, that all fields on this thing should be set? It doesn't matter where they came from, but they should have value. And I guess I'm trying to think if I could write some sort of like defensive test that would fail if I didn't update it, right? So meaning like, well, I don't know what this is going to be, but if I could write a test that says, assert this and assert, I gotta spell assert right? Assert that, okay, and then this field is populated, right? Populated. And then I say assert for each one of the fields, like, that field is populated, right? Or whatever, field A, field B, field C, right? And then after that, I somehow like loop through all other properties. I'm calling them fields, but all other properties. And none should exist, like there are no other properties. I don't know, like I'm struggling, and I'm even struggling to explain it. Like it's probably not making any sense. If I can't explain it, if I can't think it through, then it can't be right. So I don't know. That's the end of that. So I got some unit tests on that, or like one more unit test. So I'm being good with my tests. I'm now going to check it in and say added tags and URL to display on home. Okay, let's commit that. And I think the thing to do now is probably, this is where I wish I had more time to work on this, because, in an hour at a time, it just goes so slowly. I get frustrated. Oh, I don't have a sound effect for frustration. I have cool new sound effects, by the way. Like, I could say, if I was frustrated, maybe I would use, they don't really work. I don't know. I've got some cool sound effects. I've been adding more. Yeah, Sudoku sound effects. Yeah, like, someone tells a joke, I could do that. Hopefully you heard that, at least. I think that sound goes through. And I have my applause, And what else do I have in the sound effects list? I have... Yeah, well, Kevin heard applause. I think I used laughter for him when he was here. Oh yeah, he's full of awful jokes. No, he used a bad joke and he got this, And I also have some of my fun, like,
Oh, groovy, baby.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I make a living out of bad dad jokes. Oh yeah. I take a lot of pride in those. Bad dad jokes are where it's at. Yeah, so all right. Let's go back to my I guess there's like, what is it, a search page? Is this the one with the results? So what I need to do is I need to go to my index page where I have this little search form. And recently, wait, this isn't it. Oh, that's episode history index. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this little form, okay, and I'm going to move this form over to the top of the search results page. I guess that should say search result. Well, maybe it's going to be the search page. And let's put it, I don't know, we'll stick it right there for now. And this is going to take us, it's got an input of search criteria. It's going to submit. And now it would submit to the wrong action because I really already have this action. Wait, where did I put this? On which controller? I have an episode history controller. I have a home controller. Home controller has search, and when you call that, it returns the results page. Now this isn't really nice because I should really be doing this with a better library. Like, so with Razor, it's kind of hard. In this, the way I'm using it now, I know there's lots of ways, but I'm not doing it like with like page refresh where the page stays loaded. I'm going to do a full page refresh on these things. That's fine for this iteration of this simple website. So if I post this back, this actually should work fine, okay? Holy moly. Will this work without anything else? Well, let's find out. Because it's just a submit, and it's submitting... Well, does it know what to... Wait, hang on a second. That seems too easy. The home controller has this search. It's a post. Yeah, this actually, well, let's find out if this works. Okay, so I don't have a link to the search page, but if I type for Razor, I get this fun episode. Okay, and now if I search for 3, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but that's what was in there. Oh, look at that. Oh, is that right? I don't have the extra columns on here. So that actually might be correct. Let's see. Oh, yeah, I know you don't like that. So the one with the word 3 there was blank and blank. Wow, this might just work. That was cool. I have to admit that was easy. So let's go over to that other page and let's add in the additional columns we need. So we're going to add in... there's no need to have ID on here. I mean, that's kind of useless for anyone but me. So I've got title, detail, tags, and let's leave this one blank. And I'm going to come down here, and I just did this on the other page. This is pretty easy. I'm going to come down here. You know what? Let's just go back and get it from index and just take these two values, actually. Oh, this is going to be so easy to update my little page here, as lame as it is. Look at that. And so now, this is starting to pretend to look like a website with my little bit of coding. And so while I'm running this thing here, while I'm loading it up, don't forget tonight, 8:30 p.m. on Twitch, on YouTube, on Mixer, all of those, / The Dev Talk Show. Hey, come by and hang out with us. We're going to be talking about developers' path to success and growth with Mahesh, our friend Mahesh, who is the founder of C# Corner, an awesome website where, like, I'm for years been getting help from that website, right? If you're like me, I mean, that site's been around a long time. That's one of the, I'm curious, I got to ask him when he started that website. That's like one of the original, I think, like .NET help websites. All right, let's put in SQL, because I see this one episode has the word SQL in it. And look at that. Oh my God, and if I change this to be .NET, of course all my tags are terrible. And I can click through and it takes me to watch this thing, and oh my god, this is amazing. Thank you all. Thank you. Yeah, Mahesh. That's the Mahesh I'm talking about. Saduki, and I'm not saying his last name because I feel like I butchered it before and I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed that I don't want to say it, but I just said that I was embarrassed for saying it wrong, so I really just repeated the same situation of embarrassment. What are you going to do, right? He's a friend, and I think to myself, how is it that I'm not really sure how to pronounce his last name? Oh, you haven't met him yet? Oh, he's a great guy. And if you tune in tonight, I'll tell the story about how he got me into a lot of trouble. Fun trouble, but he got me into trouble one year with my wife. Not like real trouble, not like divorce level trouble, just, tune in tonight for this story and the details of how I got into trouble because of Mahesh. Great guy, known for years, and we'll be talking about developers' path to success and things like that. Rich Ross will be with us, of course, right? But Chris Gomez won't be on the show tonight. He is unavailable tonight, but that's why there's three of us, so the show must go on, as they say. Anyway, look at this. This is sort of starting to look like something. Now, and really the purpose of this is minimal. The purpose of this is for me to have a code base so that we can have other fun with this code base. So I can do other things with it and have other fun like that. The show must go on. Yeah, it is true. Now, I don't know. I never like these things. What I'd really like to do is if someone comes here, and there's streamers watching here, so if you guys know how to do this, let me know. What I'd like to do is when the stream is live, to display like the stream, right? There's a couple things I'd like to do. I'd like to show the current archive from YouTube. So if you go to youtube.com, I'd like to show in this spot here, like not the current show that's on really, but maybe like the last episode, the last live stream that was posted, or the last episode, something like that right here. But if we're live, I want to show the episode that is currently streaming. So you could technically just come right here and watch. Although I'm not really encouraging that. I think that would make sense. That way this becomes the home for all things Shwami streams. And I could actually just kind of give this URL out and publicize it here. I don't know if that makes sense. But anyway, I'd like to figure out how to do that. And, maybe Watch could also do an inline watch. Instead of taking you to the page, Watch could just display it right here. Ooh, that would be interesting. But, that's probably, I don't know. I have to think about what I want to do next. And I want to do something that will be fun. But before I do too much, I got to make sure I have the basic functionality of this thing working, and I think that I do. So we could actually just scrap anything new and just build like new websites for this. And maybe that'll be what we'll do now. I don't know. You know what though? I'm looking at the clock, and the clock is telling me that it's getting kind of late, and where's what I'm looking for here? I don't even see it. Yeah, all right. Well, anyway, I like to keep these to about an hour, and I feel like I'm at a pretty good place. And I'm going to do a check-in, because that's what you do when you're done with work. Search page has search box now, something like that. Saduki, we would love to see you on the show. We had a great episode with Saduki a few weeks ago, where we talked about notebooks, like Jupyter notebooks, and how you can use them through, I guess they're Azure notebooks is really what they were called. And you can check out our YouTube page, youtube.com/thedevtalkshow, and check out when Saduki came by to talk to us. And we're building a great archive of conversations with a lot of people for the Dev Talk Show. It's a lot of fun, and I hope to see you there tonight. I also hope to see you back here next Wednesday at noon. Wednesdays at noon Eastern. Anyone that was here today, thank you for your time. If you commented, if you were just hanging out in the back watching, I appreciate that too. And I hope you'll join in sometime and send a comment or tell me if you like what I'm doing or don't like what I'm doing or any of that stuff. For now, I'm going to wrap up the show And I hope to see you guys again really soon. And we'll all have some fun. Thank you, Rich Ross, for the awesome show. And I know I will be seeing you later. And with that, I'm signing off. Have a good day, everybody.